Hi friends, Tiffany here. Welcome to my quilting life. Today, long arm. And since all my mounts keep breaking, they're just going to sit on a tripod over here, behind me, or to the side of me. I haven't got the comments loaded, or the chingamabobber loaded yet, so that's what I'm doing. I brought the tablet out, and I just put it on a hooky mabobber, and it's just going to sit over here, so yeah. I have to load in everything, so that's what you're going to witness today is me loading the long arm and starting the quilting. So pretty much the process of it, which you've seen before, but some of you seem to have been curious in the past and haven't seen those videos, so pretty much you get to watch it all over again. So I'm going to load the long arm while I have some energy. Don't mind my hair. I look like I freshly woke up. I'm just in one of those moods, so I need to get some work done, and I figured why not do it live. Hi Jim. So I'm going to move the long arm actually out of the way to the other side of the frame like that. It just rolls and rolls, and then I'm going to move this just a little bit. Put my little thingies over there, that way it's not completely in my way. Hi Kim, June, hi Judy. I don't want to have to lean over the whole time, but it's easier because I'm going to go on the back side and I'll be on this front side, and I'll just turn the camera just slightly so that you can see me loading the frame. I'm just going to load the quilt I made for Sasha, which is a, it's the pin dash, or what is it called? It's a churn dash pinwheel, or it's a mixture. I made it in a Insomniac video. And it came out all wrong, but I continued to finish it, and so I did, and I just dedicated this one to being Sasha's. So I made it back, and now I'm gonna load it, and Sasha will have her own quilt so that she doesn't get mad over Sissy's quilt, which is Triana, all the time. So I'm gonna get that done and started and done. Well, you know what I mean. If I step out of the camera, that's because I'm seeing June, Judy, I got that far. June, glad to see you. Gonna try to put tabletop and see how it goes. Everyone's just saying hi. All right, so to load this beast, I just move it out of the way, and I take this, and you guys are gonna hear the fan in here. You guys can hear the fan behind you. That's because I'm in the garage, but it's kind of cool. It's only 78 in here right now, so which makes it perfect for me to quilt because we keep it inside our house at 80, so this is the perfect weather. I'm pulling this front bar up and around the cloth leader so that I can load a quilt. I pull these up and I can pin because I am a pinner, and I'll only see the comments, just letting you know, when I come to this side of the frame. But when I'm way over here, I can't see nothing, but I can yell. So I showed you guys this. This is her quilt. And the backing is Minnie Mouse and princesses, because that was all I had for her. So I'm going to throw that back there. And we're going to grab the backing. And pretty sure you could see down there. The backing is Minnie Mouses and Princesses, and it's flannel. So that's what Sashi wanted. And I'm going to go ahead and load this in length, which is, I gotta look again, which way is what, because I don't remember. I made it kind of directional. Yeah, I'm loading it this way. Okay. Had to make sure. So I'm going to go ahead and find my center of this backing. So once I find the center, I'm going to create a notch right here. And then it's going to get lined up with the center of the back of the frame, face down. That is how it loads, face down.
then I'm gonna squeeze over here to the back side, take that center that I just made the crease of, and I'm gonna line it up with the of my cloth leader. I'm gonna put my first pin in, and then I'm gonna hold that pin while I grab and align one side, and grab and align the other with the edge of the cloth leader. And I didn't bring the comments back here with me, which I should do. Hi, Sonut. Cutting fleece scraps for backing a crumb quilt. Cool, Cam. Get that done. Fan's not so bad. Okay, good. Because I have to have it on to circulate in here because I am in a garage. Just popped in to say hi before taking a nap. Okay, Linda. Well, I'm just here. Gonna quilt this, so. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and pin across this back piece along the edge, about like a ½ inch up. And just throw a bunch of pins in, and then I'll go around to the front side and throw pins in that way as well. And I don't heavily pin it because it's just a baby quilt, so it should lay pretty nice. It looks pretty big, but that's because I'm loading it sideways, not up and down. That way I can center the backing with the quilt top. It works easy this way, I think, when I'm trying to center something. So like for a twin, it's easy to center, but for queen, or full-size queen and king, I actually have to move my car out of the way, and lay it on the floor and mark it. I center the quilt top on the backing, and then I put markings so that I can find the center, with the markings after I hook it up. I mark everything prior to hooking it up, because if not, it's hard to center a quilt if the backing is pieced and has its own center. It takes me a few minutes to do this. I'm not very speedy today, but I do have a little bit of energy, so I can get this done. It'll be fun. I don't even know what I'm going to quilt on it. I just figured you guys can join me while I do this. Ouch. While I poke the crap out of my fingers. I don't mind pinning them. It helps me get everything nicely aligned, pinning. And they do make like other things for long arms. Instead of pinning, you can use what is it called? They have like these red snapper things. It's like a bar that goes in the cloth leader, and then you just lay everything on, and it has these little red snaps. And there's tons of different brands of them. They're not all called red snappers. I had thought about it last year of ordering it, but since I only quilt in the garage seasonally, I was like, well, I don't want those to sit in the garage over the summer, and I can't keep taking too much stuff in the house. But if those plastic things would sit out here over the summer, they would probably melt. So I'll stick with pins, because less things to get ruined when it comes to having a long arm in the garage. Hi, Beverly. Hi, Kathleen. So yeah, this is what I'm doing. Again, I'm using flannel, so my seam is pressed open. If you guys can see that, my seam is actually pressed open, and it lays nice and flat, so that way when it rolls, it'll have like a bulk right here, but that shouldn't affect how the quilting is done. At all. Should not at all affect it. So I pin like every ½ inch or so. And I'll probably be close to getting out of camera in a second, or not, it just depends. I just stuck it at the end of the frame because that way I can move the tripod close once I start quilting, so that you guys can see the quilting, since I can't go from the machine because I broke another mount. I'm gonna have to like come up with some kind of mount system. I need like an engineer I need someone that's an engineer to help me make a mount for this long arm that would fit having a phone hooked to it. Alright, so now I'm going to put my magnetic tray over there and come to the other side. And we're going to hook it. So what I'm going to do is lay that right there. I know where my middle is, but I'm going to check anyway by folding it in half, pulling nice and hard. Here's my middle. There's already a fold there. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this mostly down there. Line up this middle real quick. Like this. And then put a pin in it to hold it for a second. And then hold that while I come over here and adjust this. And then come over to this far side and adjust that. And I'm hoping that I'm in the camera. Because I can't really see. Let's turn you guys just a little bit. There we go. That way you can see me. So now I'm going to go ahead and pin across this side. So how is everybody doing today? Hopefully good. I've been packing up quilts so that they can be shipped off to new homes across the United States, which is very wonderful. Instead of sitting in a cupboard, that was one thing that was annoying me about having all the quilts that I chose to be for sale quilts, is because they just sit and sit and sit in cupboards and they don't get used. The only ones that get used are the ones I chose to be our personal house quilts. And even then, they don't get used in the summertime. Nothing gets used in the summertime here, quilt-wise. Not even being able to quilt, which you guys already know. So this is the work that goes into long arming, all this extra steps. But this beats crawling around and basting a quilt on the floor any day. Like, I prefer this. So much easier. You just have to know how to quilt. And even if you don't, they have computer systems for people who don't know how. But I like the free motion quilting. It's very fun for me. It's relaxing. Besides my legs hurting, but that's fine. I'll live. I always do. I want to check the comments. Kim's going, I'm going great today. Finished the crumb quilt top. Awesome. Judy says the snow has arrived today. Going to be a long winter. It will hopefully be gone mid-April. Wait. Yeah, I can't live in snow. No way. No way, no how. I'll visit it. I won't play in it because that'll just hurt me more. Snow is too cold for me. I love living here. No snow. I mean, there has been snow and it does get cold. Can't say that it's not. It's not your guys' kind of cold, but it's my kind of freezing. In the wintertime, it feels like I've been shoved into a freezer and left. That's what it feels like to me. But to you guys, it's probably worse than that. For you guys, it's probably like jumping into some kind of icy lake. Which would be so horrible. I couldn't do it. No way. One thing I like about flannel is it lays really nicely when it comes to pinning. For those that are curious, it lays quite nicely. Because everything sticks to it, so it sticks to the cloth leaders really good. Two more pins, and this one will be ready to toss down and in. Alright, so now what I do is I pick this up, toss it down and in like that. Mary. Hi, Judy. What is your temp today? Outside, it is probably like 87 right now because it's not very hot today. It's kind of strangely cool today. Which it'll probably warm up through the day, but right now it's not very hot. So now I just roll this on here, keeping it flat, and then, okay, then I start rolling this, and it goes on facing upside down, and I smooth it back and forth while I roll it on, which it shouldn't really need much smoothing because I ironed everything. Just trying to keep everything equal. This process shouldn't take too long. I also pull off any loose threads that, you know, manage to get on everything because that happens, loose threads. Flannel picks up thread better than any. I mean, if you had carpets in your quilting room and a big chunk of flannel, just drag the flannel across the floor to clean it because it picks up everything. This barely touches thread all over it. So I just remove any threads that I see while I'm loading it. It loads quite nicely. And then this bar, oops, I knocked the camera and I'm very sorry for that. Has to be removed. Because I don't use that bar. That's for the quilt top, but I don't use it. So see this sagging? You see the sagging? So when I have sagging like this, I'm going to roll it to the top, roll it to the bottom, roll it to the top, and then roll it back to the bottom, and then it should go away. Should, but not always. So, let me make sure, since I knocked the camera. So you're going to see how that sags? We're going to try to get rid of that real quick by spinning it this way. I might only need to just do this once. But we'll see. It is flannel. It might sag, but that's okay. Still going to quilt with it either way. So it's on one side. Now I'm going to come back to this other side. I'm going to keep it nice and tight. I don't have rollers on this. I mean, I have a handle, but it broke already. Everything breaks. As long as the machine don't break and the loading mechanisms of the frame don't break, I can still do all this. Alright, so there we have it, see? I took that sag away, so now it lays nice and flat. And then, I'm going to hook these on here, which are my bungees. And then snap it in. There's a little snap thing over here. Hold that up. Come over to this side. Find my bungees, put them on. Snap it in place. This on. Snap it in place. Oops, we don't want to pull too much. We don't want to yank it to where it makes like an indentation. And now, I'm going to put my really thick batting on here. Very thick batting. And I have to cut some excess off real quick before I start this. Because I cut it, it was cut off of a 90-inch. So, just choose some, chop the excess away. I'm away from the camera, by the way. Alright, so there's my line. So I'm using polyester batting on Sasha's quilts today. I love the snow. We were supposed to have moles winter since I retired. I want feet of snow since I don't have to get out in it. Jim had 2 light snows in western Iowa. It's 40. Ay. Susan. Hi, Susan. 87, not too hot. That would be miserable in Cincinnati. Jeannie, hello. I also keep my house at 79, 80. I live in Mesa. Yeah, we leave it at, we turn it to 79 or 78 at night and then keep it at 80 during the day because it's just better. All around better. Alright, I'm going to bring this back a little bit for basting now. Got right there. We're going to grab the quilt top. We're going to lay it on here and find the center. See how much excess there is? Alright, so we're going to fold this. Find the center. Create a crease at the center. And I still have its size tag. For anybody that's wondering, this is 48 by 56. Lay that on there nicely. I have lots of hangover, which is just fine for me. I don't mind. Pull that batting up. Alright, you can see how thick that is. It's going to have a lot of loft. Alright, so I'm going to remove my little tag of the size of her quilt. And I am going to choose yellow thread for her quilt. So I'm going with Lemon Ice Glide thread. It is polyester. And I have some already rolled bobbins, so I'm going to take that over there. And we're going to swap this thread out real quick. And I'm doing bobbin and top the same color. So I'm just going to load from over here. Where you see me very far over here, I just tie the thread. I should have brought this close to you guys to see, but I'm just tying a knot. And I do it twice so that I can pull it through. And I'm going to come over here to this side. We're going to pull out. Oh, there is no bobbin casing in there. We need to find a bobbin casing. It's somewhere around here. Aha, there it is. So bobbin casing is this. For those that are new to long arms, so here's the inside of the bobbin casing. And then right here on the side, there's a hole and a slip and a slide. So we're going to stick the bobbin in with the thread coming out towards my right hand. Okay. We're going to slide that in there. Take the thread to this first little slit and then up and into that hole. And then to test the tension, I'm just going to lift it in my hand, and if the thread comes out and it lifts it up, then it's good. I'm going to pull my thread through. So now it should be a lemon ice color. And in 2 seconds, give me a second to baste real quick, and then I'll bring the camera over to the quilt. So first, let me start by basting. So I'm gonna bring you guys close so you can see the machine, because I want you guys to know what I'm doing here. So careful, we're going for a ride. Okay. Can you see my right there? So on my screen, I have basting, manual, precision, and idle. I'm gonna sit mine on basting, and then I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna press the plus button at a 1/2 inch up here. I'm pretty sure you can see that good, you can see it. So I'm gonna take it to a 1/2 inch because I like to baste my quilts with a 1/2 inch baste when it comes to my top and sides. I like to baste it like that. So what I'm gonna do is find my thread, and I'm gonna come right here, and I'm gonna take this, there's a button right here for needle down. I'm gonna put my needle down, find my bobbin, pull it to the top, and then I'm going to take a couple stay stitches here in place. And then leave my needle down. I'm gonna move that excess thread out of the way, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press right here my red power button, and I should, every 1/2 inch now, that needle will go down. And yes, I have my hands kind of in the way, but I'm pushing on the back side because this is really thick batting. It's 8-ounce poly. So I like kind of push on the back and keep my hands around the front so that it stays nice and straight. And I make my way from one side to the other. So sometimes I have to manipulate it as I'm basting. Other times I don't because I wouldn't have been using such thick batting. And I'll have to change the camera angle in 2 seconds. Let me finish basting this side. I'm gonna put my needle down, and then we're gonna move you. Sorry that you didn't get to see all that. We're gonna move it facing the quilts now. You guys can just watch that. So now that that needle is down and holding right here, I am going to retighten this back one a little bit and bring the forward one so that I have this as far back as possible so I can baste down this side. So I'm making sure everything has stayed nice and straight. See? And it's very, very lofty. Like I said, it's 8-ounce polyester batting. And then now I'm going to come down this side. And I'm kind of just pulling the quilt because of the thick batting. And I stop and I pull to get everything to lay nice and flat. And then I always come back a second time across the top. At first I was breaking thread and then coming back, but it kind of like, I don't know, I like the extra stitching around the top. So I'm like stitching about a 1/4 inch to, 3/8 of an inch from the top, and then I come down this side. And then I kind of hold it as I go because I want it nicely on here. I come all the way down. I gotta find that original thread because it got tangled just now. And then I stop right here because this is where I started. I'm going to trim that original thread. And now it's nicely basted down. Look at that. Now what should I quilt on it? Well, I think I'm just going to do an edge-to-edge meander because, to me that's quick and easy, and this is for Sasha, so really I don't want to have to like go through every single one of these little seams. She's not going to care. It's just going to get drug around the house because that's what Sasha does with her blankets. So she'll do the same with this quilt. And sometimes I go through and pick any threads that are stuck in seams before I start quilting. Sometimes I just leave them and I'll pull them out later when I get to binding and all that. Let's see. Where was I? Don't forget to give Tiffany a like, share, subscribe already. Thank you, Kim, for the reminder. Hi, Susan. Back working on supper. What? Working on supper already? Isn't it only like 1 or 2 where you are, Jim? It's only 1 p.m. here. Alright, so I'm going to move this out of the way a little, and what I'm going to do, just because of rolling sakes, I'm going to go ahead and cut some of this big, huge excess amount right here of batting off. Because that's going to run through the machine funny. I mean, not the machine, it's going to sit on the frame funny. And I have a bag back here that I just shoved batting in. Alright. I'm going to put my little holder over there. And we're going to start quilting. So I'm just going to do an edge-to-edge meander. Let me show you what the screen is going to do now. So let's come up to the screen and then I'll put it back down in a second. So we're at the screen. I'm going to choose precision mode. So the machine is going to run continuously as I move, but when I stop, it stops. So I'm going to have precision mode. And okay, I'm going to tell you real quick. Idle mode is the same thing. When I move, the machine moves, but when I stop, the needle will go up and down at a percentage. So if you say 3%, then it goes 1, 2, and the needle will just go up and down. In precision mode, it completely stops, up or down. It doesn't matter, it just completely stops. In manual, the machine consistently just keeps going up and down as a percentage. So you choose how fast you want it to go. So I'm just gonna do precision. I like 10 stitches per inch. To me, it's cleaner. It's easier to pick out if I had to pick anything out, and it's cleaner and easier to work with. So we're gonna face you guys down, and we're gonna hope that that stays really nicely. Sorry for the movement, but I'm gonna zoom in so that you guys can see the quilting just a little bit. I work very fast, so I'll end up across, actually, let's just do that. I'll work across this whole entire thing. I'm pretty darn quick when it comes to meandering. So we're just gonna leave you guys right where you're sitting. And I'm gonna take a drink of water before I start. Tip this so you can see further that way. There we go. And remember, the machine is loud for those that are new and haven't heard the long arm. I mean, it's not horrible loud, but it is pretty intense. I'm gonna turn this light on back here, just in case it helps. It's pretty bright in here anyway, and I don't even have but one light on. All right, so I'm gonna be blocking this section for a second because, yeah. And I'm just gonna do a big meander. I'm not gonna do a little tight meander. I'm gonna kind of keep it on the big side. So I'll come down to the quilt in a minute and show you guys. So and I use 2 hands when I do this, one on the machine and one on the quilt because the quilt batting is so thick. So I should be able to get this whole thing done in one video. So I'm going down my whole entire throat space. I have about 16 available inches to quilt. And I just watch where I've been. So if you're wondering how I can quilt this quick, you know, it's because I'm watching where I've been. And I'm going to stop for a second and look underneath and check my tension. So just give me 2 seconds to climb under the machine. Oh, that looks wonderful. I could probably bring it back to the top for a little bit though. In some areas it's not looking wonderful. Alright, so let's tip that back towards me just a little. And now I'll show you what I had just did. You can see the wonderful loft here. Look at that, so thick. I love this, and I like the feel of this on my hand. Hi, Patty. It feels so amazing. Like, I don't know, the thickness. I just love it. Don't ask. I'm weird. All right, so let's continue on down. And you can see how I move this around, and all I do is I just watch where I've been. So let's turn it back on, and if you hear the machine beep, that's because I'm going faster than my stitch regulator. So I just move around. In wavy lines, not wavy, wiggly lines. I just wiggle my way. See, so when I stop, the needle stops, it stopped with it up. So that I don't make any mistakes, I don't move anything. You know what I mean? I just continue on going. I'm gonna put that and stop for a second. My machine lately, I don't know what's going on with it, but every time I press the power button, it changes my stitch length. Alright, here we go. Got the batting pulled on that. I move the quilt around. So I just use my fingers to kind of manipulate things to fill in the fullness. And I'm just going to fill the fullness in right here at the top so stop grabbing my batting. I'll answer them in a second. So now I'm gonna break thread. Normally I would just leave it down, but I wanna come and show you guys what has been done. So this is just meandering, and some people have asked me in the past, how do I know how apart to quilt? Well, I try my best to stay about a little bit more than a ½ inch. So between a ½ inch and an inch is where my thickness is between, lines. So when I come back up this way, it's about a ½ to an inch between this one and that one. So I try to keep it consistently throughout the whole entire thing. Look at this. It's like little worms, you know what I mean? And this was done faster than I've seen. I've watched computerized videos before. When I do it manually myself, it seems to go a lot faster than I've seen on a computerized machine. You know what I mean? How it takes the computer so long to do something. So I'd rather, honestly, I like doing it by hand because my amount of time is probably quicker when I do it by myself. So let's advance this. I'll keep you guys nice and straight and go on to the next. And if you can see, I didn't come completely in the throat space because I leave it open a little bit so that I can fill that next area in. So some areas are a little bit high. That way it doesn't look like it was done in rows like that. So I want to be able to bring this row into this row fluently so that it doesn't have like that spacey look to it. You know what I mean? So to do that, I just put my pins down, and I have to go around the tripod for this step, but that's okay. We'll make it work. I'm going to move the machine about right here so it's out of the way. I'm going to pop my pins, and now I'm going to just roll it until some of that is in line like that. So I have about 3 inches already right here, but that just helps with the next row so that I can get up as high as possible to fill it all in so that it doesn't look road. I'm going to come up about right there. Now I'm just going to pull this down nicely. I'm going to put my clips back on the end of the frame. And like I said, I'm going to attempt to do this whole thing in one video. It's not very much of a quilt, so it should get done pretty quick. All right, so everything's nice and yanked on. I'm going to start by basting over here on this side. I'm just going to baste this side down, so I take it back to baste. It's already on my ½ inch. I'm going to drop my needle, tie it off, and then just baste what's in the throat space on this side. Everything is nice and flat. Come on. And I just keep kind of pulling on the quilt a little bit. And then I go back up. And it doesn't seem like there's a lot of space with an 18-inch, but this is so much space compared to my old way of working on a mid-arm, and it's way more space than sitting in free motion quilting. I mean, I don't know. It just seems easier. And some quilters like me prefer easier. I'm going to pull all these little threads, and then I'm going to go ahead and kind of give it a little yank, just a little. And then we're going to go ahead and baste this side. I always baste as I go. Some people pre-baste the whole quilt. I've seen that. I don't do that. I'm going to try to keep this nice and straight so that all these lines are straight. To you, it probably doesn't look straight, but to me, it is straight. And I just adjust it in my throat space. I come back up to this. I'm going to snip that away. Just going to make myself a little thread pile. We're going to turn it back to precision mode at 10 stitches per inch. And I'm going to go ahead and quilt the next row. And it's just going to be consistent with the original. And again, I'm still going to move my hands around, adjusting the fullness, because again, I'm using really thick batting. So I'm just going to come right up to where I was. And just continue. stop it right here, because I forgot to look at the comments in between, just in case. We got, love your long arm is drowning out the landscapers mowers at my work. Thank you. Awesome, Patty. Beverly, this is awesome work. Delilah's here. She's so fast. Yes, I'm pretty quick with this. Well, with certain things. Some things I'm not. Beverly's first time watching a quilt being quilted from the start. Awesome process. Yeah, and I'm going to do this whole entire, like I said, it's 48 by 56. So I should be able to get this whole thing done in one video. So it should only be 5 total pages. We're on 2. That'll be 3. Yeah, 5 pages. Technically 4.5, but yeah. All right, so let's continue. And again, I just know where to go. You know, it's like muscle memory has built so well from doing this. And I try not completely, my 100% try to make every curve rounded. When I accidentally, sometimes when I'm tired, I'll accidentally have like a point, but I try to make sure everything is rounded and curved and wiggly. And I'm just looking ahead, so if my needle is here, I'm looking ahead to see where all this other stuff is. I'm not even looking at the needle. I'm just looking ahead so that I know where I'm going to end up. So I'm bringing it up now to the top again. I just blend it all together. Like right here just now, I pulled too fast and a thread is sticking. It's still stitched, but it wanted to skip it almost, so it's like kind of sticking up. I'm just going to leave that because it's for the baby, but if this was for a customer, I'd go back and single stitch, you know, 5 stitches ahead and 5 stitches beyond, so that if it ever did come up, you know what I mean, that it wouldn't unravel the whole entire stitching. But because this is just for the baby, I'm going to leave that one little single stitch that did not stay all the way down. But that is an indication that I should look underneath and check the bobbin just in case to be on the safe side. And I'm doubting it's a big deal, and no, it is not. So I'm just going to leave it there. And if it was a customer quilt, it would be totally different. I would go back and fix it, but right now I don't need to. So I was just telling you that there's a little spot, and I'll show you. Let me bring the camera actually, and I'll show you. So see that stitch right there? It's hooked on the top and bottom, but it tried to skip it. So you can see it's on the loose side. It's hooked on the bottom. I can see it underneath there. So, and it's not tight, or yeah, it's not tight on the bottom either. It's kind of loose, but then everything went ahead. As long as I leave that there, it's still connected. Nothing will come apart. But if it was for a customer,
I would just take and go 5 stitches this way, and then follow that same line and 5 stitches beyond, tie it off, and then continue where I was. So yeah. And or I would just start the whole thing over. Just depends on the customer and the quilts and, you know, things like that. But this one, I'm not going to even bother. Sometimes it happens because I go too fast or the bobbin is getting low. Sometimes it just happens. Stop for a second because I have a thread right here. Oh, nope, it pulled out. I thought that was going to be a snipper. Oops. Stop it again. I touched it and it put it to 14 stitches per inch. I hate when that happens. Very sensitive. If anybody has any long arming questions, you can ask in the comments. By the time I finish this row, I can answer them. So if you have any questions, ask now, because I'm going to come over and read comments right after I advance the quilt, or read them while I'm showing you guys what I just did. So again, row 2 done. So see, now it doesn't even look like, you can't even tell where I came, because there's no row in reality. I left things open so that I can come up in and hide the fact that this is being done in rows. So row 2 done, And again, you can see things were left open so that I can come up. It kind of arcs so that it'll aim that way a little, you know, and it'll move through the thing beautifully, and you won't even know where I start and stop. So that's how that works. So if you have any questions, ask them. I'm gonna read some comments while I unhook the hooks and advance. It looks great. I just finished my holiday patchwork. It's all trees, so now I'm going to free motion quilts it. Awesome, Karen. I don't mind free motion quilting little things. I free motion quilt everything, but when it comes to being in the house, whew, I'd rather just long arm than free motion quilt on the domestic machine anymore. This is my preferred way of doing things. Alright, so I'm going to adjust this and then hook my other side clamps. I didn't bring the screen with me, but that's okay. Alright, everything's nice. Sitting nice, sitting nice. I'm going to be basting down the side on both sides again. It's the same routine over and over. So this will be another pass, which will go about to right. Actually, yeah. So 1, 2. This will be 3. It'll be 4 passes. I was thinking about 5, but so far it's looking pretty good. Alright, so I'm going to baste it now. I can't see the comments, so I'm just going to go over to the other far side again. And I'm going to baste it. Stay right there, camera. You get some moving camera-ness today. Stay right there. Okay. So I'm going to come over here, baste this side. And that sound you just heard, that was the foot hitting all these. I don't have a spoon foot for this machine, so I'm using a sure foot. If I had a spoon foot of some sort, then it would glide over thickness like this a lot better. But I don't have the money for the... It's like 78 on one. There's a couple websites that are like 78 to $115 for. There's a 3-piece kit. It looks like the couching kit, but it's spoons for this, and I just don't have the money right now. I mean, I will soon, but I'll get it when I get it. But I'm thinking I'm gonna need it if I'm gonna use more of this poly batting, because I really like this in the baby quilts. So I'm going to go back to basting. It should still be on my 1/2 inch. That should not change at all. Come all the way down and back up again. And then I tie the thread off. And then go start on the other side. I'll baste and just start quilting from there. So I'll come over to the other side. I kind of try a little bit to just give it a little bit of a tug, not too much because I want my line to stay straight again. I just give it a little bit of a tug so that everything stays flat. And since I float all my quilt tops, I use my body to hold this down. I'll like brush it towards me and I'll just lean my stomach against it. Technically this bar is kind of too low for me. I should raise my machine a little bit, but we kind of can't because the way everything is in the garage. So when we get a chance, we'll raise my machine again, but right now we kind of can't. So you guys are being blocked by... And I'm going to stop about right here. Put the needle down, trim away this excess thread because I don't really care for it hanging there. Grab all my other excess thread. Everything's nice and tight. I'm going to change it back to precision and continue quilting. Oh, and I'm out of bobbin, so we're going to pull this up. And good thing it landed right there. It landed out of bobbin right here in the edge of the quilt, so I got lucky. So I just reach under, pull it out because you don't even need to see it, and I'm going to go grab another bobbin and I'll check the comments while I'm doing so. And take a drink of water because I am in the garage, so I need water. I'm working on a restoration project. It was quilted pantograph. What is the best way to hide the repaired section? Picking it out and trying to go back in the exact same area. If it's a restoration, repaired restoration project to hide the section that you just restored. You got to match the same quilting. If you restored it with a quilting in it, you need to restore it quilting the same as the other quilting. Hide the repair. I would just say, hold on, let me try to explain it better for now. Hi, Jaded. Say I had to replace this block because it got shut by a dog. I would unquilt this whole area right here, about 3 or 4 inches this way, unquilt the whole corner, pull it out, and then sew in the new block, and then try to quilt, get that same feeling for the panto, and quilt this. Or you can just, you could try your hardest to get around it, to kind of match. If it was a pantograph, I don't know what kind it is, you know what I mean? But I would do my best to match the quilting, or unpick the whole entire quilt, which would suck even more. Unpick the whole entire quilt and just re-quilt the whole entire quilt after you fix the section that needed to be fixed. The last one that I repaired, I had to unpick the whole entire quilt. So, and it was a hassle, a big hassle, let me tell you. Alright, so now I'm just going to continue where I ended, which it was lucky enough I landed in the seam allowance at the edge of the quilt. So, and Scott is out here in case you guys have anything to ask, so he can hear the comments now. He can see the comments now while you guys watch.
Patty says, how did you know a dog ate it? It was a whole row that was taken off.
How did I know a dog ate it? I just guessed.
Yeah.
Most time it's a dog that digs or eats the quilts, or a cat that dug.
Yeah.
That's most what happens to quilts is cats.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but that's the most common, is dogs and cats chewing up quilts, unfortunately.
Is this a little baby quilt you're
Yes,
doing?
this
That's
is
pretty.
Sasha's.
Oh, for the girl?
Yes.
Patty wants to know how far we are from Tempe. That's in Phoenix. That's about 4 hours.
Yep, not very far. 4 hours or so. Depending on traffic, if it's a weekend or not.
Yeah.
And sometimes I try to move the thread out of the way before I quilt, or any hairs or anything. I just kind of stop, needle down, because I don't want to quilt those in. So I'll pluck them real quick.
Heather's asking how you did on your D-stash yesterday.
We sold 7 quilts.
7 quilts so far.
The video is still up. It just has no live streaming comments because it is a for sale video. And they're not allowed to still have live stream comments according to YouTube.
Since it talks about money, they take the comments off. But the video is still on for anyone that's interested. Keep watching. We still have a lot available. Tiff wrote in the comments which ones were sold. She commented on there. Patty's gonna drive to Vegas and pick you up on her way, she said.
Okay, let's
From
go.
her brothers.
I
guess her brother's in Tempe.
I can reach my hand under here, and I can move. Like if I see a thread on lighter quilts and I can see a dark, like black thread underneath the yellow area, as long as I'm still in not tacked down all the way mode, then I can actually reach my hand under and move and pull threads out. I prefer to do it that way. That's another reason why I float. For anybody that's curious why I always float my quilts, is because of that. Like every once in a while, especially with white quilts, when I did that big Mariner Star, it was so easy to reach under and pull a thread that accidentally got stuck under the white area, and it was a dark, because that was made with dark threads and white. So it makes it easier to be able to pull it out, and so that's why I float. But I'm down to go to Vegas.
Her brother's wife is a purse maker, so you two got a lot in common.
Oh, cool.
You like to make purses now. Yes, I have to get her a special foot for a machine so she can finish that
Oh,
vinyl
we should have
purse.
ordered it last night, dang it. That way it would
Sorry.
have been here in time for Sunday.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I was waiting on to get you all the steel things too. We never got that situated from the rivets
Yeah.
from Walmart. I gotta get her rivets too.
We're just gonna buy a little 240 piece rivet kit that you can hand hammer it in.
Yeah, Walmart has one for it's 10 or 12 bucks. But then all of a sudden Walmart's site wouldn't work yesterday. It died on us when we were trying to do it. Holy cow, is this all the extra?
Yeah.
From here on
That's
down?
okay, I'll use it on other stuff.
Well, yeah, that's all the princesses. She's only getting a little bit of princesses then.
I already knew it was only gonna be little.
I don't know. She likes her princesses.
Well, she chose mini.
I know, because there wasn't enough of the princesses. Well, you are quick with that.
I only have one more row to do. It's a complete live stream quilted quilt. So they can see what a work day looks like. Well, not really work, but what it looks like to work on the machine. What it's like to do and how long it takes to do a baby quilt. That is 48 by 54. Or something like that. It says it over there on the paper.
Yep, 48 by 56.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Almost.
How long it takes to do it. When you're me.
I don't know how well they can hear you over the machine.
They can hear me. It's kind of drowned it out a little, but
Okay, because I have a hard time hearing you over the machine.
that's why I'm yelling.
I don't know, can you guys hear her over the machine? Let me know. No one's commenting, so I don't know.
You should be able to.
Yep, they say they can hear you fine, so I guess it's just me.
The machine drowns out in the video.
Oh.
Because it's a noise cancellation thing.
Well, that's good. That's very good, because I can hardly hear you over the machine.
Alright, we're getting close to being done with row 3, and all we'll have is one more. Gotta pick some threads away. I don't want to quilt over them. Time to cross over. So I'm going to unpin my sides. And I
You need me to
will
move the camera?
show you before I advance how it blended again. So you can see you can't tell where it starts and stops. Can you see that? See how some of them look like they go all the way? You cannot tell where anything starts and stops. So now you know why I prefer to quilt this way. It makes it so much easier. So let's see if I can get this last area to fit completely in the throat space. Stay right there. All right, let's advance it.
Do you need me to help you do anything?
Nope, I'm gonna tack down the bottom first. I'm gonna pull nice and tight to tack it down
Here, just hand it to me, right here.
after at the end real quick. Gotta hook my clamps. So you can see how thick this batting is. It's very, very thick.
Your other batting's supposed to be here today. I called Marshall Dry Goods.
So I'm gonna start on this side right here, and I'm gonna give it a good tug because I have no body now to do this.
Elaine says you inspired her to get going on her Christmas quilt. It's been on the long arm for over a week, and you inspired her to start working on it.
Awesome, I'm glad. All right, so I'm gonna base down this real quick, keeping it straight. And you can see I'm gonna kind of have some bowing going on, but that is because I'm trying to keep everything straight and I cannot stomach touch this because I'm finishing it. So I'm gonna base everything down and hold it nice and straight. But when the quilt is done, it still cuts straight. It's the weirdest thing. Some people think that it messes it up, but it really doesn't. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the rest of this down. What I do is kind of just give it a little bit of a tug. And then I'll start basting this side and then go across the bottom as I tug and pull the whole entire time. So you'll see right now, I just like do my best to keep it flat.
Does anyone have any questions while I'm out here?
Yeah,
I'm gonna go
'cause-
back in soon. If you guys have any questions?
Okay, so now that I'm pulling, I'm gonna use my hand to hold that down. And I just pull a little bit, baste a little bit. Pull a little bit, baste a little bit. Pull and baste. That way everything stays straight, but the batting is so thick, I just want it to stay flat so that way I have no wrinkles when I finally get to quilting down here. I sewed through my finger the other day, not the other day, but last week when I
Yes, she
did
did.
those
She came in and showed me.
I didn't bleed on the white pillowcases either, so I got lucky there. And that was by doing this. I know that this is dangerous to have my fingers that close, but
Well, Jim, my only answer for you on that is because the good Lord made it that way. Jim asked, why is the sky blue? LOL. That's our answer for you on that one.
the sky is blue because of the reflection from the ocean. Does anybody really know that? You know that, right? I've read all about it.
I have no idea why the sky is actually
A
blue. No.
Science Now thing that we watched, me and CJ.
Uh,
It tells you why the sky appears blue during the day and black at night.
Because the sun's down, so you can't see
It's
very well at
the reflection
night.
of the sun off the oceans.
Oh. Well, Jim said works for me.
All right, so here we go. It is tacked down. Stay down. There we go. And now I'm just going to quilt it the rest of the way. So this row should go pretty quick, and then I can show you guys how long the machine actually ran, how many stitches are actually in this little quilt, and we can pull it off of the frame, and I'll show you how simple that goes. Alright, let's back to precision. And I'm going to go ahead and finish this, and Scott will be able to stay out here to finishing this. This is just a quick little row if you want to read comments.
Yeah, I'm not going nowhere.
Alright.
I was waiting on you to get done. I'm going to get a quick check your email, and CJ and I are going to go to the grocery store and go in some boxes.
Okay.
I figured we'd have you check one last time before I leave, because I'm not making a third trip to the post office today.
Oh, you want me to check the email? Oh, I can't check the email.
This second when you're done. I'll
Yeah.
wait till you're done.
I'm almost done.
Take your time.
This is taking my time. If you hear the machine beep, then you know I'm rushing.
Hi, Kim. Elaine says she just hit her finger basting. Blood and broken needle. I hate basting, she says.
Yep. That's what I did the other day. Well, last week, I mean. It went right through the edge of my first finger into the finger along the nail. Oh, it hurt so bad. And it was a fresh needle too, which is even worse because it was even sharper.
Well, when Tiff says she has blood, sweat, and tears in these quilts, she's not lying. She really does.
Sometimes when I'm really tired in quilting and I shouldn't be quilting, I've actually ran through my fingers because I do this with my hand. I'm more prone to only when I'm tired, because when I'm not tired, I move my hand while I move the machine. So as you can tell, like, I run with it and I move my hand out of the way. But every once in a while, that does not happen and I end up sewing through my fingers.
Hi, Vicky. Well, Kim got her fleece scraps cut. And Elaine didn't get any blood on the quilt. She did good.
Good. Just watch yourself. Check yourself before you sew yourself. Instead of check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yes.
Check yourself before you sew yourself.
Going with some old school rap lines there. Oh, Polly's so happy to see you live. She's in the UK. And normally she can only see you on catch-ups because of such a time difference. So there you go.
Awesome. I'm trying to do this whole entire quilt in one video. Not very big, 48 by 56. But still, 2 bobbins worth. Which is good, because I didn't want to have to roll more.
Vicky is cooking. They always got to talk about their food. You're going to make me hungry again. All day yesterday, people were talking about food.
I haven't even had my lunch yet, so don't even start. I haven't eaten yet.
I know, that was Sunday night they were talking about food. The whole Sunday. Oh, they were killing me. Yesterday I was holding quilts up the whole time for that one, so I didn't get to read as good. Kind of slacking. Oh, Lisa says her hubby's making sausage gravy biscuits and hash browns for dinner.
Well, I'm making fried potatoes and eggs and hot dogs tonight.
Yep. The Tiffy special.
It's the poor people special.
Yeah.
The fried hot dogs, fried potatoes, and scrambled eggs all mixed together. So good though. A little bit of ketchup. Oh, it's delicious. What?
Nope, there's nothing wrong with poor folks' food. It tastes good.
If it's made just right with lots of butter, it's delicious. Because I fry the hot dogs in butter. Oh, it's so good. And yes, I still cook all my food on high.
They're all talking about food now. There they go. Every one of them.
Well, Jim was making supper. I was like, isn't it kind of early? But maybe not in some areas. I forgot, you know.
Well, I always ate between 4 and 5. Some areas it's 4 and 5. It's already 1:30 here. 1:40 almost.
How many people are watching?
Lisa says, it sounds so good, but you had her until ketchup.
How funny. Well, you can put whatever you want on it. Salt and pepper and the seasonings and all that stuff like
Yeah.
you do, and just not put ketchup. But I put ketchup on it to help it go down my throat easier because with my MS I have a harder time swallowing. So.
You got 56 people watching.
Wonderful, because 56 people are going to see that I am done in like less than a minute. And then you get to see the whole process because I'm going to take it off the frame too. Now you guys are going to see what it's like to take it off the frame, and then I can show you the whole entire thing. So first we're going to start by unclip.
Here, do you want me to help you?
Clip that.
I can help you. You get your hand out of the way. I can
Alright,
do
so
it.
let me show you this, and then I'll show you how I see how many stitches are in this quilt. So here's another finish. So you can't, it works out perfect the way I do it. You can't tell where it starts and stops.
How long's your frame, Linda Griffin?
12 feet is how long my frame is. All right, so there's that. Give me 2 seconds to snip this, and then I'm going to take you guys up.
You don't have to throw it on the floor.
All right, so here's my screen again. I'm going to show you this. So if I go right here to this little toolbox, this quilt has 44,433 stitches, and it took me 34 minutes and 14 seconds. That's how long the machine ran. And in total, add another 30 minutes for the loading and the unloading of the quilt. And this little baby quilt didn't take very long. So I'm going to bring you guys back out of the way so you can watch me unload. So we're going to sit right here for a second so that I can unload this thing. You can see how this works.
She says
So
12 feet is huge. It's
I
what she
start-
needed, though.
I start right here by unpinning this bottom section. It's so much easier to just let it sit right here, still hooked to the frame.
How big is your award-winning quilt? Isn't that one almost 12 feet long?
It's 10 foot by 10 foot. It took up my whole entire cloth leaders. My cloth leaders are 120, hold on, 130 inches, and I was edge to edge at the cloth leaders.
Yep, Tiff does some large quilts sometimes.
Very large. Alright, so that's disconnected, so all I have to do is pop this bar so that I can pull, but I'm going to move the machine out of the way.
We showed you guys one of her king-size ones yesterday. That one was pretty huge.
Alright, so I'm going to clip this out of the way because my machine likes to roll. And now this is disconnected, so all I have to do is pull it to where my pins are exposed. And then while it's just hanging here just like this, I just go ahead and unpin along this whole entire edge. Now I won't be able to trim this quilt out here because my trimming area is very loaded with DVDs and battings and rolls of this and rolls of that and just tons of stuff. But I can at least show you, I'll fold the batting out of the way so that you guys can see me holding it up.
Linda says no wonder it's in the garage. 12 feet is huge. She
Yeah.
wants it in the house, but we're still fighting over that.
We gotta wait till the girls are older.
It's an argument in the process.
It's been that way for a while. So, alright.
The machine does not like the heat, so it can't be used over the summer. We have to bring the sewing machine in the house.
So if I hold it right here and right here, you can turn the camera.
I will. I'm working everything here. Give me a second.
Can you see that?
Yep. Going all the way up. All the way down. Yep. Okay. You're saying absolutely beautiful.
The backing is the princesses, which are going to get cut off to right here.
Yep, they can
So,
see that.
There'll be a couple princesses, and then it's Minnie Mouse, and it's flannel, so Sasha can drag it around and do whatever. You can turn the camera facing the frame now.
Okay, we're going back to the frame.
And we'll just throw this over like that.
Is there a way you can add another border around the front or around the bottom's edge to keep more princesses, or no?
No, not after it's already been quilted. I'm not going to go ahead and do any of that. So there it is.
Well, yes, Kim, you're right. It is
So this
adorable
is
and she
for-
will love it.
This is for Sasha so that she has her own and does not throw a fit anymore about Triana being the only one with a quilt, you know. So that's there.
Teresa's never seen a long arm in action before, so there you go.
Well, this is kind of like a little demo. And my long arm, for those that are curious, is a King Quilter 2 Elite Special Edition. And I'm pretty sure the special edition has something to do with all this computerized part of it that's not computerized. So when I'm done, I'll tell you guys again, it has 44,433 stitches. Oh, they went bye-bye. And I took 34 minutes of the machine running. Oop, go bye-bye. So now reset for the next project. So that's how that works. So let
Bye-bye.
me turn it this way so I can talk you guys out of this video. So there it was, the process of quilting a quilt, and bam, just like that. Look at that. So what, I've been on for like an hour?
Hour and a half.
Yep,
Even.
so I've been on for an hour. Obviously, there's a lot of, talking and stuff in between, so it really didn't take me that long. So yeah, this is how it works. This is how it's done, and this is just something simple. This isn't even me taking my time to do something nicer. This is just an all-over, edge-to-edge, get it done, basic quilting, So this could be drug around. It's like utility quilting is what I call it. So it's a utility quilt. You actually use it. She will be dragging it around. So that's how that works, for those that were curious. And this is my other husband, because the one husband sometimes gets jealous over this husband because I complain all winter or all summer long that I cannot have my baby.
Don't get jealous. We argue over it a lot.
I'm like, can I please? Let's find a place. All summer long this year, I said, can we find a place for the frame? Please, please, please. We're like, I'm still measuring everything. And he's like, can you just stop it already?
Oh, Polly, I believe the lady from the UK says one of the reasons she watches you because her daughter's 31 and was diagnosed with MS.
Oh,
too.
man. Well, I'm glad that you can see that, and she can catch those, seeing it, that you can still do things with MS. It doesn't stop me from living my life. I'm a little bit slower. Well, actually not when I'm playing with my husband. I'm not a little bit slower. This thing goes quick, but anyway. All right, well, I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to actually go and eat some lunch. I thank you all for watching.
Don't forget to watch the quilting video from yesterday for those of you that haven't seen it.
If you want to buy a quilt for your family member, or family, friends, somebody, because you need gifts, but you don't have enough time to quilt.
Not just that, you can see all the different quilts she's made throughout her years. They go from the first quilt she's made all the way up to the most recent
one.
one.
The first quilt I've made, it just goes
The
from
first
years back.
ones. The first ones, not the very first. The first ones.
Anyways,
Some of those were older quilts.
yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go, and I'll see you guys next time. Maybe again tonight I'll load another quilt. We'll see. I'm not guaranteeing that.
It's
but
not that anyone has to buy
I have
anything. It's
more
so they
backing.
can see your work.
I have backing available for next in line quotes, so we'll see if I come out and load again. It didn't take very long, so maybe I will. Who knows? All right, so I love you guys, and I thank you for hanging out, and bye for now.